2 questions. That is all it takes now to get your United States visa denied on the spot. The United States government just made a major change to the visa interview process, and if you are planning to apply for any type of American visa, tourist, student, or work, you need to know about this before you walk into that interview room. This is not a rumor. This is happening right now, and it affects millions of people around the world. Welcome back to Immigration Updates Today. Today we are covering one of the most significant and most talked about immigration changes of 2026. Just days ago, on April 28th, the United States Department of State issued a formal directive to all American embassies and consulates around the world. The directive adds 2 new mandatory questions to every non-immigrant visa interview. And depending on how you answer, your visa can be denied immediately, with no second chance offered at the consulate. This update affects tourist visas, student visas, and work visas. It affects applicants from every country in the world, and immigration attorneys are already calling it one of the most consequential policy shifts in recent memory. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what these questions are, why they were introduced, who is most at risk, and what you should do right now. What are the 2 new questions? Let us start with the basics. What are these 2 new questions? Consular officers are now instructed to ask every non-immigrant visa applicant 2 specific questions at the start of the interview. The first question is, have you experienced harm or mistreatment in your country of nationality or last habitual residence? The second question is, do you fear harm or mistreatment in returning to your country of nationality or permanent residence? These questions are asked verbally at the very beginning of your interview before any other discussion takes place. According to the official cable, applicants must respond verbally with a no to both questions for the consular officer to continue with visa issuance. That means if you say yes to either question, your visa process stops right there. And if you refuse to answer, the same result applies. The denial is immediate, and the officer will not ask follow-up questions or give you a chance to explain. Why did the government introduce this rule? Now you might be asking, why is this happening? Why would the government add these questions to a tourist or student visa interview? The State Department directive says these new questions are designed to address concerns around asylum misuse. The government's stated position is that a high number of individuals have been entering the United States on temporary visas and later filing asylum claims after arrival. Previously, fear of return screening only happened if a traveler sought asylum after physically arriving in the United States. The new rule moves that screening overseas to the consular interview stage, effectively blocking applicants before they ever enter the country. This change is rooted in an executive order signed on January 20, 2025, which directed federal agencies to increase vetting of all immigrants seeking to enter the United States. The directive was signed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. In short, the administration's goal is to identify people who might use a temporary visa as a stepping stone to an asylum claim and stop them before they board a plane. Who does this affect? This is a question many of you are asking right now. This rule applies across all non-immigrant visa categories. That includes the F1 student visa, the B1 and B2 tourist and business visa, and the H1B work visa. Every category of temporary visa is covered under this directive. The United States issued around 11 million non-immigrant visas in fiscal year 2024 alone. This rule now affects a very large number of applicants around the globe, so whether you are a student from South Asia planning to study in the United States, a professional applying for an H-1B work visa, a business person with a B-1 visa interview coming up, or a family applying for a tourist visa, this change applies to you. It is also important to note who is not directly affected by this specific rule right now. Travelers from visa waiver program countries who use the ESTA system do not attend consular interviews, so this particular requirement does not apply to them. Also, if you already hold a valid and unexpired United States visa, you are not required to answer these questions unless you apply for a renewal that requires a new in-person consular interview. The legal trap and why this is so complicated here is the part of this story that immigration experts are most worried about. and it is something you absolutely need to understand. Legal experts warn that this directive places applicants in a very serious legal dilemma. If you answer honestly and say yes, you face immediate visa denial. But if you say no, even though your situation is more complicated and you later seek asylum once inside the United States, those interview answers can and will be used against you in immigration proceedings. Think about that carefully. Answering truthfully leads to visa denial. But answering in a way that is not fully honest, just to get the visa, could be considered a false statement to a federal official, and that can result in a permanent United States entry ban. One immigration policy consultant described this situation to a major news network as putting people in really bad, terrible positions, forcing them to make decisions that affect their own safety and the safety of their families. This is the reality for applicants from countries facing conflict, political instability, or persecution. The situation is genuinely difficult. And if your circumstances are complicated, please speak with a qualified immigration attorney before your interview. Do not try to navigate this alone. The broader immigration picture, this rule does not exist in isolation. It is part of a much larger pattern of immigration tightening in the United States in 2026. Beyond the new screening questions, interview waivers have been eliminated for nearly all non-immigrant visa categories since September 2025. That means more people are now required to appear in person at consulates than ever before. The administration has also increased vetting for student visa applicants and has temporarily paused decisions on some immigration applications to ensure they meet newly rolled out security check guidance. Immigration advocacy groups have spoken out strongly. The president and chief executive of a leading national immigration forum stated that for decades, the United States has offered protection to those fleeing danger, and that this policy would invert that core American value by explicitly excluding people because of the threats they could face returning home. The debate around this policy is real and ongoing. But regardless of your personal opinion on the policy, the rule is in effect right now, and your visa interview will include these questions. Practical guidance and what you should do now. Let us talk about what you can actually do to protect yourself and your visa application. First, be honest. Answer truthfully. If your situation is straightforward, you are a student, a tourist, a professional, and you have no legitimate fear of returning home, then answering no is both the honest and the correct response. The vast majority of applicants fall into this category, and for them, this new rule changes very little. Second, prepare your complete application carefully. Make sure your documents, your ties to your home country, your financial proof, and your travel purpose are all clearly organized. A strong application on all other fronts still matters a great deal. Third, if your situation is genuinely complicated, if you or your family has experienced targeted harm, or if you are from a country currently experiencing serious conflict or political violence, do not apply without first consulting an immigration attorney. In that case, a non-immigrant visa may not be the right path for you, and an attorney can advise you on what legal options actually exist for your specific situation. Fourth, be aware that your social media activity is also being reviewed as part of the vetting process. If anything on your public social media contradicts your interview answers, the chances of denial increase significantly. Make sure everything you present is consistent. Fifth, understand that there is no on-the-spot appeal available at the consulate if you are denied under this rule. If you believe a denial was unjust, your next step would be through proper legal channels, not by arguing with the consular officer during the interview. Let us quickly bring everything together. The United States State Department issued a new directive on April 28, 2026. All non-immigrant visa applicants must now answer 2 oral questions at the very start of their consular interview. These questions ask whether the applicant has experienced harm in their home country and whether they fear returning. A yes to either question or a refusal to answer results in immediate visa denial. This applies to tourist, student, and work visa applicants all around the world. Answering dishonestly carries serious long-term legal consequences. And the rule is already in effect at all United States embassies and consulates worldwide. If your situation is clear and simple, prepare well and answer honestly. If your situation is complicated, seek professional legal advice before your interview. That one step could protect your entire future. This is exactly the kind of update that can completely change your plans if you are not aware of it. Immigration rules are moving fast right now, and staying informed is one of the most important things you can do to protect yourself and your family. If this video helped you understand what is happening, please give it a like. It helps us reach more people who need this information. Share it with anyone you know who has a visa interview coming up soon. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do that now so you never miss a critical update from Immigration Updates Today. Drop your questions in the comments below. We read every single one, and we do our best to address the most common concerns in our upcoming videos. Stay informed, stay prepared, and we will see you in the next update.